Hey everyone, Kyle once again. And around the time now, I usually do what we mostly do towards the end of the year. First, I do the memoriam to all the good actors that passed away during this year. The next, I'll do my list of the, the films that bombed throughout this whole year as well. And then my worst and the best films of this year. So. Now, for the first one, as always, just give like my memoriam to all the good actors that passed away through the year of 2016. But once again, a lot of good ones who knew eventually would, someday though, or some that but mostly unexpectedly just passed unexpectedly. But well, that's how life is though. But so it's always a bad moment where saying, "Oh, that person just died," recently. It's like. Just a tragedy, whatever. So yeah. So just I'm only doing the ones that I know that I mostly remember from. So there's a whole bunch though, but a lot of names I'm not that very familiar with or haven't heard of. But the ones I mostly know of though that I remember. So starting off starting off in the beginning of January, just rolling through. First one that I was the passing of on the 10th, January 10th, the passing of David Bowie, actor and memorable singer. The film he started some films. The mostly I remember he was in the sequel to The Omen, which I haven't seen the sequels in quite some time though. Well, especially the second film, but I also remember him starring in the fantasy film Labyrinth. The Creatures by Jim Henson, and I haven't seen that film in a long time though, but I always remember him starring in that film. That's probably, everyone remembers David Bowie, probably his most memorable role is starring in Labyrinth. But a lot of people know him from his singing and stuff, but honestly, I haven't listened to that many David Bowie music, from what I remember though, but I know who he is though, but it's a sus though, a memorable singer, especially people remember him from Labyrinth, now passed away, so yeah, David Bowie, he was just very missed. This one I definitely remember, and I just reviewed a film that is actually my favorite role of his. On the 14th, British actor Alan Rickman, who played one of the most memorable villains in action films, in Die Hard as Hans Gruber. But a lot of people mostly remember him from playing Snape from the Harry Potter franchise. But all the films he starred, he was starring. He was also starring in Galaxy Quest with Tim Allen and Sigourney Weaver. I enjoy that movie. But he's been in a lot of other films though, but the two things I remember him from is the Harry Potter franchise and Die Hard. I'm not the biggest fan of the Harry Potter franchise, but I know that Alan Rickman was good as Snape in it because I know he never gives a bad performance. But I loved him in Die Hard. Always been my favorite role of his. Probably some people say the same thing though. And I just reviewed the first Die Hard film, part of the Christmas season because it is considered a Christmas film, so you can check that out. But it's just a memorable villain, just like a cool, calm, suave bad guy, just talking like, especially with him with Bruce Willis. Do you really think you stand a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy? Bruce Willis saying "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker," or him saying the same thing at the end it was like, what was he told me? Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Bruce Willis laughing, shoots him, saying "Happy trails, Hans." It just has that oh shit look when he's slowly falling down from his death from out of the building. I loved Alan Rickman, Die Hard. He always be one of the most memorable bad guys in action films. And as I said, he's now tragically passed away. So, another one that I've heard, I know who the guy's name, but I've never seen too many films of his. The guy starred in, but another veteran actor by the name of Abe Bogota. I know he had a voice. I know he had a voice role in Batman, the animated film Batman: The Mask of Phantasm, and of course he would be in the Nickelodeon movie with Keenan and Kel Good Burger. But I know who the actor is. But I just never seen that many films that all starred him though. But Abe Vigoda, yeah, at the age of 94, and also by the other ages for Alan Rickman and David. Alan Rickman was 69 when he passed, and David Bowie, he was also 69 as well. So, but Abe Vigoda, he was at the age of where is it? 94. Wow, lived a long life. So moving on, getting into Feb. So that's what I know from January. So getting into February. I'm just scrolling here. Another veteran actor, George Kennedy. I remember George Kennedy. Probably one of the memorable roles I remember he starred in. He was in the parody comedy trilogy of the Naked Gun franchise with also the late Leslie Nielsen. He was also was starring with him, and of course O.J. Simpson, of course. But George Kennedy. He was also funny in those trilogy, but also remember he was also in the oldies film Airport. I think it was. And he was also in the action film Earthquake with Charlton Heston, and I also remember he growing up. He also voiced he was a voice in Small Soldiers as well. He was Brick Bazooka. He voiced Brick Bazooka in Small Soldiers, and he was also in the Dirty Dozen, which I think also speaking with the Dirty Dozen, they always started. I think that Joe Dante wanted to get like some of voice actors, I guess, from who played like some, I guess the Gorgons or most of the Commando from who plays like the Dirty Dozen, I think. But because George Kennedy was one of them in the movie, and he voices Brick Bazooka. Yeah, so yeah, George Kennedy, and also the last film we starred in was back in 2014. And that was The Gambler with Mark Wahlberg and John Goodman. But George Kennedy, I saw that, and he was only at the beginning of the film where he was he plays like Mark Wahlberg's father. He was only that like about a minute at most. He was just laying in the hospital bed, and that was it. But yeah, he was 91 when he passed, and I remember George Kennedy from the Naked Gun trilogy. We voiced Brick Bazooka and Small Soldiers, and Earthquake, The Dirty Dozen, and Airport. But I know he's been in many other films of that, but that's why the films I mostly remember him from. So he passed away on the 20th of February. So that's another veteran actor that's gone. And moving into March. Just keep scrolling. Comedic actor Garry Shandling, which started to do stand-up stuff, which I think he was like with friends with Jerry Seinfeld, for I remember. But he was another like a comedian, but also a very funny comedian to a lot of people. And as an actor, I didn't start to first heard of him until back in 2010 when he first started in Iron Man 2 as the senator. That was like being like giving like Tony Stark a hard time. By the end of the film, he gives like gives like Tony like the medal, and he actually stabs like, ooh, I'm sorry. Yeah, but I've heard the name just for years before I finally saw him, who he was in 2010 from his appearance in Iron Man 2, and did when my Dad was explaining, oh, he was a comedic actor back in the days and stuff. And I had to go and look back on all that stuff. It's like, yeah, he seems like a very a very funny guy. And of course, he had also a cameo appearance in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. When he was with the same guy, but he was turned with Hydra, but he gets arrested at the end of the film. Other films, the last film he did was when he voiced the porcupine in the live action version remake of The Jungle Book. But a lot of people to him as a very funny person. On March 24th, when he passed away at 66, young. And this is a sad because I was watching like on his one of the things like when he did from the back in the days, and I think he was still until before he passed away, he was like friends with like Jerry Seinfeld, I think it was. So yeah, very seemed like he was a very funny comedic guy, and he'll also be missed as well. So yeah. Now we're getting to entering April. Oh, okay, this is another guy. This guy's a director, which I'm familiar with, and passed away on April 16th. At the age of 73, it's a director by the name of Rod Daniel. Now, this guy, he directed a fun buddy cop movie called Canine, which starred Jim Belushi, where he was partnered up with a German Shepherd cop. And Ed O'Neill has a little role at the beginning of the film. But I like K9. There was like the same year in '89, I think, when it came out, where it was like where there was also Turner and Hooch with Tom Hanks. But out of the both of the two, I think I prefer K9 better because I like Jim Belushi, and it was like a fun good with him with a human cop with a police dog, and I had fun with K9. Like with Jim Belushi working with the police cop, the police dog, and also another film like that, and another film that he also directed that I really do enjoy. It was a sequel to Beethoven. Beethoven's Second was what he directed from 1993. I highly enjoy the sequel. It's there's the only two good Beethoven films is the first two. The direct-to-video sequels I didn't care for. Well, maybe the best of the direct-to-video films, like I said before, was maybe the fifth one because it stars Dave Thomas. But the guy Rod Daniel, he directed K9 and Beethoven Second. I think I remember he directed that horrible piece of crap sequel, which was Home Alone 4. Was it? Yeah, the fourth Home Alone 4. Yeah, I think I remember that. That was god awful at its best. I just rather go stick with K9 and Beethoven Second, which are two good dog movies. So, so yeah, that's the guy, the director of Beethoven Second and K9, Rod Daniel, age of 73. It passed away on April 16th. And then, of course, another one on the 21st, another memorable singer who was also an actor as well, and that was Prince. I already did a video of rest in peace on Prince. I can't even talk again. I did a video ready to rest in peace, so rip Prince. Now this one, a singer like I know David Bowie, but more of the songs I listen to more of Prince, especially Purple Rain. Purple Rain, Purple Rain. And of course the film Purple Rain that was based on his song. And that was probably the best film he's done. They did like films like I forget one film they did, but Under the Cherry Moon, which got Razzies. But Prince, I remember most of it. Remember songs. Party like it's 1999. So yeah, I like Prince. It's such a great shame. And I think it was. Yeah, I think it was. For why I said it was my mother who saw him once in concert from the days. So there was a thing for my mother when she saw him back in the days in a concert. Yeah, but I like Prince, and it's just I like probably his most recognizable song, especially like that part like 1999, and then Purple Rain. And the other thing I forgot, we also did Little Red Corvette as well. Little Red Corvette. Yeah, but I like maybe his best song was Purple Rain. And sad at the age of 57, sucks. So yeah, April 21st. Yeah, so Prince, he'll always be one of the most memorable musicians up there. It's now passed. It's now just sadly, it's now just passed away back in April. So this sucks. So I like Prince, and he'll be very missed. Next, moving on. Entering May. Nah, not too many there. Not the man of in May. And now getting to June. A guy I know the name, but passed away on June 6th, which really was my birthday. Really enough. Kimbo Slice. He's I know he was like he did like UFC stuff and martial arts stuff like that, like a boxer or whatever, like Kimbo Slice. The only thing I know because he starred in that Christmas special Nickelodeon, Drake and Josh, the Merry Christmas Drake and Josh. I recognize him because he starred in that. Not even much to it though, but I know because he did like UFC stuff like that at the age, but very young though, at the age of 42, and that's just way too young. So yeah, but he passed away on my birthday though, June 6th. So. And then of course on the 19th, one of the youngest on the list is Anton Yelchin, who knows playing Chekhov in the rebooted Star Trek films. And of course he had a role in Terminator Salvation where he played young Kyle Reese. Of course the Fright Night remake. And Odd Thomas was one based on Dean Koontz. And then one of the things when he started in about a month before he passed away was in that thriller film Green Room with Patrick Stewart. But yeah, Anton Yelchin, because that was when he was like, I guess he was hit by his own car, like he forgot to put in park, and then all of a sudden it hit him, and it slammed into a brick wall. I think it was. I forget. But I did another video of him like rip Anton Yelchin, but it was it probably both was like an accident though. But young at the age of only 27 years old. He could have gone starting a lot more for he was getting much more up with starting these rebooted Star Trek films as Chekhov, and the third film Green Room. So he could have and of course everyone, he was also in that movie with that Jodie Foster directed with her, starring her and Mel Gibson. That was The Beaver. He played the son that disliked his father, and yeah, that was another one too. So he was getting his up and more towards in the films though, but life was just cut way too short for him, sadly. So yeah, and even though I hated the Fright Night remake though, but he was not the problem. It was just the script, how the way it was made. But Anton Yelchin, yeah, it totally sucked. So yeah, June 19th from Freak Accident. He'll also be missed on that. Entering now in July. This one, another veteran actor on the 19th, July 19th. Not only just an actor, but also a director. the creators of Happy Days, Garry Marshall, which the other thing my mother grew up watching was Happy Days. I saw Happy Days too. So with Ron Howard and Henry Winkler, and with his sister Penny Marshall playing one of the ones, the sister like Laverne and Shirley. So yeah, Garry Marshall, and of course, not only did he create Happy Days, but as a director, he also directed memorable ones like Pretty Woman. I think he also directed Runaway Bride, and The Princess Diaries, the one with Anne Hathaway. But he also had, as an actor, I like his little appearance in Race to Witch Mountain when he started with Dwayne Johnson. Greetings, Earthlings. He was one of the ones that knows about the secrets about Witch Mountain. It was a nice little appearance from Garry Marshall in that movie, especially with Dwayne Johnson. And and he also directed those holiday films like first Valentine's Day, and they directed New Year's Eve. And the last film they did was directed earlier this year in April, which was called Mother's Day, with Julia Roberts and Jason Sudeikis and Jennifer Aniston. That was the last film he did a few months before he passed away. So yeah, he was just a memorable director, and especially for creating such a classic TV show from back in the days called Happy Days. That's another one who was also just a funny guy for directing good comedies, and well, I wouldn't say good comedies like Valentine's Day or New Year's Eve, but the ones they did back in the days, like Happy Days, or even for Laverne and Shirley with his sister Penny Marshall, and even I would even say a lot of people will say Pretty Woman is one of his best films as well. I think even Runaway Bride too. But yeah, Garry Marshall, that's another one. This is, with all the cast members like Ron Howard and Henry Winkler and all about how when he passed away. So, and even his sister Penny as well. But that's another. So yeah, Garry Marshall. I always remember watching Happy Days, especially my mother as well, who always enjoyed watching the show. Sunday, Monday, Happy Days. Tuesday, Wednesday, Happy Days. Yeah. The show will always be one of the best in his memory, is that show mainly. So yeah, rest in peace, Garry Marshall. 81 years old, and he was just so up there in age. And now moving into August. I mentioned this before when I reviewed it. Director Arthur Hiller on the August 17th at age 92. The guy who directed a Silver Streak, and but my favorite with Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor, See No Evil, Hear No Evil. That's great. That's my favorite. My favorite film starring the both of them. I highly enjoyed that film, See No Evil, Hear No Evil. Yeah, I already mentioned that one. So yeah, August 17th, at the age of 92, he passed away. So yeah. And moving on. Then of course, I also mentioned before. Ironically, after that, the director of that film starred Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor. Like a couple weeks after that, August 29th, Gene Wilder passed away. Yeah, it was. I find it kind of ironic because of that. Age of 83 years old, and of course he was doing. He kept it like he was like had Alzheimer's. He was like kept it like very privately. And when he passed away, I said I would review the three most memorable ones to me I reviewed them. So Charlie the Chocolate, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, then Young Frankenstein, and See No Evil, Hear No Evil. I already reviewed all three of those. I said I would do that for like a tribute to Gene Wilder. You can check those out. Yeah, that was another thing I grew up with. One of the, if I was one of my favorite comedic actors I grew up with, that was definitely Gene Wilder, especially with those three films. See No Evil, Hear No Evil, then Willy Wonka, the Chocolate Factory, and Young Frankenstein. That was one thing I grew up with, and this one I really do miss. I really miss dearly is Gene Wilder. Yeah, the ones this year, all the ones that I mentioned this year that I mostly remember. One of the ones I missed the most is Gene Wilder. That's another tragic loss, like Garry Marshall, a tragic loss to the comedic acting world. Yeah, I really miss Gene Wilder. I really do miss Gene Wilder. So you can check out those three films I did as a little tribute to him. Like I said, Willy Wonka, the Chocolate Factory, Young Frankenstein, then uh, See No Evil, Hear No Evil. So you can check those out. But all the other comedic films that he did, and also directed as well. So I miss Gene Wilder. So yeah, I just find it kind of ironic that before this, the director of Silver Streak and See No Evil, Hear No Evil. Then a couple weeks later, then Gene Wilder passed away. I just kind of find like weird and ironic. So yeah. So August 29th, Gene Wilder passed away, age 83. So yeah, moving into September. I know this other actor's name, Alexis Arquette. I know who he is. I know the actors by the name. I haven't seen much of the films he has been. I mostly remember from Bride of Chucky when he was this guy that was like seeing Jennifer Tilly, and he was like on the bed strapped down, and Chucky comes to life and lifts his lip ring off and suffocates him with a pillow. That's the only thing I remember from Alexis Arquette. But I know I know who the name is familiar though, but I just haven't seen what other films he starred in. So only for September 11th, September 11th, at the age of 47. But I don't know too much about him. The only film I remember him from was Bride of Chucky. Then we'll get to October. Nothing there, but then now entering November. Which I also did another rip video of is Robert Vaughn. November 11th, Robert Vaughn at the age of 83 passed. I remember it from the Tower. Mostly remember from the Towering Inferno and the original Magnificent Seven, Bullet. Yeah, there's another veteran actor from I remember back in the days from those old films. But yeah, I know that my dad knows more about Robert Vaughn than I do. But he also remember starting from the TV show The Man from U.N.C.L.E. But I mostly remember from the original Magnificent Seven and the Towering Inferno. He was the senator. Like, he was trying to get Richard Chamberlain on that Breacher's Bowie. He's like, get out of there, get out of there. But then he ends up falling to his death. But yeah, Robert Vaughn was another veteran actor that I remember, especially from those two films. I think he was also in Superman 3 as well, with Richard Pryor. So yeah, Robert Vaughn will be missed. Next up, moving on. Not much after that, and then now entering December. This one guy that I remember. This one guy here on the 14th. Bernard Fox. Now I've only seen him in 3 films. And he had an appearance in Titanic, but the ones I also remember him from, other than that though, he was also in the comedy, the mystery comedy, The Private Eyes with Don Knotts and Tim Conway. He was the butler. It was like every time when Don Knotts says, we're looking for a murder, and then the guy who was the butler, that is Bernard Fox, he goes like, and starts strangling Tim Conway. So yeah, but other than that though, I also remember him from The Mummy, the 1999 remake with Brendan Fraser. He was like the character Winston, who was like he's like the British pilot that Brendan Fraser is on the back, and when Imhotep has that wall of sand coming at them, grinning at them, and Brendan Fraser's like shooting the guy who was the pilot that died and then sank into quicksand. That's Bernard Fox. Winston. And other than that though, that's who I mostly remember this guy from. So yeah, from the little role in Titanic, from I remember him from. Then the comedy, the mystery comedy, The Private Eyes, which I thought I liked with Don Knotts and with Tim Conway. He was the butler. And then but the one I most remember him from growing up was The Mummy. Yeah, so we have 89 years old, so on the 14th. And of course, now getting to now up to recently. Now up until now, up to now is the most recent one that everyone's talking about is the sad tragic death of Princess Leia herself, Carrie Fisher, age 60 years old, who recently, like from a few days ago, had suffered she was on the plane and she suffered a massive heart attack, and sadly, I guess she never recovered from that. She just passed away yesterday, which was the 27th, which was yesterday. Age 60 years old, just which from what I understand, I think from what I read up, I think she completed her scenes from the next Star Wars sequel, Episode 8. So. But yeah, Carrie Fisher. Of course, we'll always remember of course, everybody would be from playing Princess Leia in the original Star Wars trilogy, and of course, and playing until the new one, the last year, The Force Awakens. Yeah, even though I did not like The Force Awakens though, but the original Star Wars trilogy, always remember Carrie Fisher from, and which had one of the best moments for her in the trilogy when she in the Return of the Jedi, when she killed Jabba the Hutt, just strangled him with the chain that she was, being like the slave to Jabba the Hutt, and just strangled him with. So yeah, Carrie, and also what other films that she also starred in. I think she starred in one of the Scream films. I forget which Scream film. I think it was the third one. Let me quickly look this up. I just want to remember what other films that she did besides the. I know she did other films after the Star Wars films, though, the original trilogy. But I know she appeared. I know she appeared in one of the Screams. I forget. It was either 2 or was it 3. Definitely wasn't my #1 for that for sure. But I think it was either 2 or 3. Yeah, it was the third Scream film. She had appearance in that. The Burbs with Tom Hanks, which I liked. The first Austin Powers film. Oh yeah, the remake, Sorority Row. I remember the only thing I remember from Sorority Row was I remember from the trailers. I think it's Carrie Fisher. Her role was she was like the lead. The sorority house, like the mother of the sorority house, whatever. And when she saw the killer, she had the shotgun. It's like, you don't scare. I'm not afraid of you. I run a house full of 50 crazy. When it cuts away, when the killer throws that, whatever that thing was. Because yeah, she had the shotgun, but when the killer threw that, but yeah, I remember that from the trailer from Sorority Row. She was in the one scene right there. And then after that, did The Force Awakens, and of course, like I said, she completed the reading out thing. She completed her scenes for the number 8 though, but not up to the. Of course, they haven't done from the 9th one yet though, but yeah, it's just 6 years old from a massive heart attack, and just that totally sucks. Now I didn't grow up with the Star Wars films though. But I do remember watching them though, but I didn't watch them all the time growing up. I was more into the Star Trek ones, the old Star Trek films. But Star Wars, I do mostly remember watching a few times growing up. And I always remember, Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, of course, yeah, we had Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia, Alec Guinness, James Earl Jones as voice of Darth Vader, and the first Star Wars, and Empire Strikes Back, and then Return of the Jedi. Yeah, this is especially for diehard Star Wars fans, it's definitely a big loss. Definitely. And I can feel I can feel that too because you guys I know it's one of the most memorable characters in sci-fi history, Princess Leia. So it is a big tragic for that on that part there. So yeah. So that's all like the recent one that happened yesterday, 27th, and so yeah. All those other actors I mentioned, especially one I missed, all the ones I missed earlier was Gene Wilder because I grew up with him more. Hilarious. But all the actors that I mentioned, and also a couple of directors as well, they'll all be very well missed, especially like ones like Alan Rickman and Prince. But yeah, with this latest newest one, Carrie Fisher. Yeah, that's probably one of the most saddest ones of the year. So yeah, she will also be very well missed. And I always remember her as from Princess Leia from the original trilogy, as do many others would think so. Yeah. So yeah, that's all the complete list of the ones that my actors memoriam for me of 2016 that I'm mostly the more recognizable names. So yeah, that's all of them. Will the wall be missed? May all of them rest in peace. Especially the latest one out with Carrie Fisher. Just totally sucks. I know that's how life is though, but still, it totally sucks when they just all of a sudden they passed away. Really? Oh, that sucks. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say, but that's how it is, and I would totally dread who would be next to be in next year, but it's unpredictable. You can't exactly predict though. So that's my actors memoriam of 2016. Sure, some people will still share some of the same ones that I've said. They will be very missed, but those ones that I remember, that will always remember, be in their memories for the ones we grew up watching, like Gene Wilder and all the other ones. So yeah, so anyway, that's my actors memoriam for 2016. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. On the next one I'm doing is the list of the big box office bombs of 2016 as well. Later. Once again, I want to say, may they all rest in peace.